I'm Spencer. So this place came from complete risk and dedication and knowing that this vision ain't going anywhere. I'm not going to let it sit in the back of my mind and not make a move. So in school, you could have called me the class clown. I always wanted to look out for my peers, but sometimes in the wrong way. I focused on my mates' mental health and a lot of that sort of thing. And my actual goal in leaving school and getting an early exemption, I wanted to be a counsellor. But I was 15, you can't really be in that world when you're that young. So I thought, why not try cutting hair? Because when you're cutting hair, you're constantly talking to people throughout the day. So that's where it sort of started, is I wanted to help people and I wanted to make people feel good about themselves and good in their own skin. It definitely came from a side of abandonment issues from my past that sort of made me want a sense of belonging, and yeah, it came from a place of wanting to help and make people feel good about themselves, that I wanted to start a business that is different to all the other barbershops in the Bay of Plenty.
I'm the founder and the regional manager of the Graham Dingle Foundation for the Western Bay of Plenty.
They definitely helped a lot with Project K, and Dan, his support really drove me to want to be the best version of myself. And grow not only myself but everyone around me. You know, I always wanted to bring everyone up together.
Project K is our flagship program. That's the Graham Dingle and Joan Wilkinson started in 1995. So it's 30 years old this year. And I've been running it now for 17 years in the Western Bay of Plenty. And it's such a blessing because I know so many young people whose lives have transformed through the program. And Spencer's a really good example, and he's one of many.
Association that help youth sort of like that are going, they could either go one way or another. Project K is a course where you go on a 2-week wilderness adventure. You kayak, you bike, you tramp, and you have no phone, no anything, you're just surviving, you know, and I feel like it's a great way to get a young fella who is sort of self-cautious to get him out of his comfort zone, or her, and it really did, it got me out of my comfort zone. So they help so many kids all around New Zealand now, but Dan is Western Bay of Plenty and he has done such an awesome job. I remember leaving the wilderness and we had a school like assembly, it was in the assembly hall, and I remember walking up the stage being like, yeah, like I feel like a completely different person. Like walking up, I had my gumboots on because I like just got back and I was like, this is it. Like I'm on. Like I was fully feeling so myself. Like I feel like I had escaped the me that I didn't want to know anymore, and went up on that stage and shared my speech to all the parents of the kids that went to Project K, and I always wanted to do more than the normal, you know what I mean? I always wanted to like exceed expectation. I just pushed myself, but no, it definitely helped me grow. See, I feel there were a lot of teachers. Like I've got a few teachers who come in here now for haircuts, or women teachers who bring their kids in for haircuts. And 2 of my lady teachers that I had were honestly the coolest people that I've ever met in my life, you know? So that's the difference, is like there's a lot that do want to see you go far and do want to help you, but it's the ones that are in your ear negatively that actually take away the passion of even wanting to try. But I feel in school you need to find
finding what really drives you.
Yeah, finding what makes you tick.
One of our big questions, and I ask it now, is what's your why? Like, what's your big purpose?
My mum, my brothers. I lost my stepdad 4 years ago, and he pushed me to be probably the man I am today. He was the man. People in my life who always wanted the best for me, but that I didn't want for myself. And then he's passed away now, and there wasn't any way that I was gonna not change what he wanted me to do, you know? What advice would I give 10-year-old Spence? Honestly, he was pretty broken, Like that was probably the roughest part around the roughest part of my life. I think me and my brothers had just come out of foster care. So we didn't really know, like it was very different back then. To be where I am now blows me away, and like 10-year-old Spence would be proud, and my mum and my brothers would be like buzzing out, you know, like at that age. Like it was just a whole different life, like that people wouldn't even imagine when they look at me now. Touching on something else as well, my biological father has schizophrenia, and he didn't focus on his mental health, and I saw that growing up in the way he treated my mum and abused alcohol and drugs and that sort of thing. And seeing that, I now know to prioritise mental health and also prioritise my people around me's mental health as well as my clients. The amount of clients who have sat in my chair, from gym junkies to gang members to normal kids that have sat in my chair and shed a tear and opened up conversation that I never thought I would hear from people like that, being so vulnerable. I think vulnerability is the biggest strength that a man can have, showing that they're hurting and not trying to be I'm this big, brave, tough man. I feel like showing your emotion is probably one of the biggest strengths that somebody can have, and how to help in my chair, I feel let them be the conversation, not myself, you know, let it be about them. I feel like a barber is like a cheap therapist in a way. It's actually really crazy. Like I never expected, one day I was in my cabin and some young fella come and asked for a haircut. He asked for a walk-in and I said, yeah, bro, I was actually booked out at the time. And he came in and got a haircut and he was sitting in my chair getting his haircut. And he went real quiet and I was, are you all good, man? And he was like, yeah, I'm all right. And just carried on. It was like real awkward silence and I was a bit worried. I finished his haircut and he looked at the roof of my cabin and started crying. And I was like a bit buzzed out, like I got goosebumps on my arms and I do right now. And he said, this was going to be my last haircut. He said, if it wasn't for me coming here today and you cutting my hair and feeling comfortable in here, I was going to end it. And I closed the curtains of the cabin and sat there with him for probably 5 minutes and just talked to him. And I said, that's not the easy way out. There's so many more things that you can do to prioritise your mental health than taking the so-called easy way out. Well, it's not. Because I feel like, you know, anyone can give a good haircut. And that's what I say to the boys, anyone can give a good haircut. But if you're giving a service that exceeds, you know, giving a good haircut and you're helping someone, they're going to come back to you. You know, you're putting your time into someone else. They are more than likely going to come back and be your repeat client, and you'll actually build like a friendship in that customer. You know, it's definitely a safe space. Every strong person you meet has a story that gave them no choice. You know, you meet someone and you can tell that there's something up with them, but they're so strong and they try to they hold themselves so well. A lot of them will be actually fighting a battle that you know nothing about. A big reminder for all the young fellas out there, be yourself, you're your only competition, prioritise your mental health, be there for your peers, don't be a bully.